Hello, good evening. We are on episode number 59 already. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. It's not believable. I can't even believe it. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Sorry. I was turning on my, I monitor the stream on my tablet, and I forgot to mute the audio. I think we're good now. I just tried going live, and it was not streaming to Facebook. So I think we're good now. It looks like everything's good. Yeah, so I saw some of you last night. In case you did not hear the big news, we reached 1,000 subscribers last night. And I posted something today about it. And I think most people know this about me, but just in case you don't, I am not a numbers guy. I do nothing for self-exaltation or promotion or anything like that. That's not at all who I am. And especially when it comes to church and theology. And I've even been told that I'm the opposite. I'm too, like, I'm a old bearded religious guy is what people call me, because I don't like using the gospel as a means of personal gain and trying to, like promotion. So I'm not a numbers guy. But the 1,000 subscribers thing, to me personally, that was like my goal when I first started out, was if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, then we are doing good. And we did that. And so it's only because of your guys' support that we were able to do so. And so thank you. Really appreciate it. Last night we had a long chat. Actually, it turned into a lot longer than I anticipated. But went online just to say thanks. Then we talked about some other stuff. And then tonight on the live show, I want to talk about the one and only Kanye West. Yes, the Kanye West of 808s and Heartbreaks and Gold Digger, that Kanye West. That's exactly who we are going to talk about. And if you have not heard, you're probably wondering, why in the world are we going to talk about Kanye West on a theology show? But he's really bringing a lot of attention to not just Christianity as a whole, but theology and Reformed theology at that too. And what's going on, I think, is really, it seems to be good so far. And we'll ultimately see, what ends up happening. But from like what's going on now and some of the stuff that I've seen, it sounds really good. And I think a reason why to acknowledge the good of what is happening here is for a couple of reasons. But number one, like secular outlets are making this a story because he's become a Christian. And what's happening then is people are recognizing, just because of what Kanye is doing, that there is, like, you can't just say you're a Christian. Like, there is an aspect of living the life as a follower of Christ that your life must mirror what is required of you, or what is called what is your calling as a follower of Christ. That there are certain things and stuff that your life should look like. And so Kanye, with his reputation and everything that he's brought in from his life, now he says he's a Christian, and all of a sudden everybody is a scholar in Christianity, and that's just how it goes. But the good thing about what's happening is people, again, are seeing that there is not, you just can't say that you're a Christian and not back your proclamation up. And so I think that's what we are, we're hopeful for it. I mean, think about, again, and it's really funny because the response that I've seen, at least in what I've seen personally, there is a bit of optimism. Like people are optimistic about Kanye's profession of faith. And we're going to talk about it here in a moment. And I think this reason specifically is why so many people are optimistic about what's going on. So let me click over real quick. I'm going to show you guys what sort of caused me to go down this as an option for the show. I posted this the other day. Yeah, we're good. Okay. This is a screen grab from Reddit. And someone said in the Reformed Theology Forum, which is an interesting place, I'll just say that. But they posted this. It says, Kanye West had a Calvinist preach at his concert today. And it says, Kanye held a Sunday service, quote unquote, concert in Detroit today where a choir sang multiple scripturally sound gospel songs. It also featured a Calvinist graduate of Master's Seminary, Adam Tyson, and he presented a clear gospel message. It was encouraging to me as well that Kanye did not make this concert about him. He stayed behind the scenes for a lot of it or simply played the pianos. It seems to me that the Lord really may be doing something in Kanye. Let's pray the Lord uses Kanye to advance his kingdom. So that's what I first saw that got me, it got me thinking. Now, I don't know who this Adam Tyson is. I've never heard of him until this event. Okay. Now, I've heard from multiple reputable sources, people that I trust online, that have confirmed that this guy is in fact legit. Like, he is a solid preacher. He is in fact a graduate from Master Seminary. So his by face value, this guy sounds like the perfect person to be preaching a message. Okay. And that's what got my attention, is because, the circle that I run in is mostly of, the Reformed camp, of people that I interact with. And that's not, only the people that I interact with are of Reformed camp, but most of the people that I do are of the Reformed camp. And so, again, multiple people have posted something online that said, yes, this guy is, in fact, legit. So that's how this got to me. Now, Kanye has been in the news a lot before because he is, and I'm pulling up another quote because I want to read it to it. I just remembered about this. He has been hinting around Christianity, I think, for a while now, and I don't really know. No, that's a good point. He found a new platform to sell his music. Okay, so that's part two of the conversation that I'm going to have, because the article that I have pulled up is about that very thing. So if you're not watching on YouTube, my good friend Noah, he left a comment. He said, if Kanye is reformed, I'm a full-blown Arminian. But the comment prior to that, he said, Kanye has found a new platform to sell his music, in his opinion. Okay, so that's part two of what we're going to talk about, because, yeah, there has been some chatter about that. And I think rightfully so. I think with who he is, okay, I think anybody that has such an extreme conversion, let's just say, and hypothetically, let's just say that Kanye is in fact converted. Let's say he is a born-again Christian, and we will see demonstration of that. Like, I think about it in my own life, like what I went through for, 15 years of living in sin. I'll just leave it at that. It's not just like one day I said I was a Christian and then the next day everybody was like, oh yeah, he is in fact a Christian. Like, there was demonstration of my confession over a period of time. And there was a lot of things that happened in order to confirm that my confession of faith was legitimate. That's not a problem. Like I think that's good. In fact, I think it's smart to do that. I don't think now again, I think anybody who confesses to be a follower of Christ, you're going to demonstrate by you will know them by their fruit, is what Scripture says. But somebody like myself, I went from one extreme to the other. I didn't confess Christ on a Wednesday and then Thursday I was in the pulpit preaching. Like, that's not at all how it happened. Kanye's not confessing to be a follower of Christ yesterday, and then now today he is, again. And I titled this "The Face of Christianity," sort of like a play on words, because he's getting so much exposure. And right now, He's the face of Christianity. Like everybody is talking about Kanye making a confession of faith. So there is a bit of skepticism when it comes to a guy like Kanye. I mean, like, again, if you look at his track record and some of the stuff that he's produced, it's not exactly Christian. And so I think there is going to be some rightful criticism. And again, that's not just because it's Kanye West. We did this with Benny Hinn. And I haven't really explored much of it since then. I've moved on to other things, but I think anytime somebody makes a confession of faith, again, there's gonna be eyes on you if you go from one extreme to the next, and I think that's good. I really personally I do. I also don't think that Kanye's past should be held against him. I don't think that like he has to atone for his. I don't think he has to do something. This mic, I tell you what, however much money this was, and it still falls. Anyways, I don't think he has to do something different just because he made, rap music that's vulgar and you would not consider it to be Christian. I don't think he has to do something different. I really don't. I'm going to mess with this all night. I'm sorry. Another reason to listen to the podcast, besides my ugly face, is that I mess with my microphone the entire time that I do it. And also, on a side note, if you watch a lot of my YouTube videos, I do the same thing as I start. It's like my little tell. Either way, Kanye is now going to be under the microscope because of what he did, more so than what I think any one of us would go through. I think it's because of the music that he made, the lifestyle that he lived, what he brings to the table because of his past. But I also don't think because of that we now require more of Kanye than we would of somebody else. I don't think. I think, again, people who confess Christ, you are demonstrating that you are a follower of Christ. Anybody. That's Kanye, that's me, that's you. Anybody who confesses Christ, you demonstrate that you're a follower of Christ. Kanye is no different. Kanye is also no different because he was, however you wanted to say it, whatever he is right now, he's a sinner in need of Christ. He is a sinner in need of grace and forgiveness and the atonement of Christ on the cross on sinners' behalf. He needs that. If he's not a follower of Christ, he needs that. If you're not a follower of Christ, you need that. Before I was a follower of Christ, I need that. We need the grace of God every day. But again, he comes to faith the same way that I came to faith. He doesn't have to now Kanye is different than like a Benny Hinn, because I got into the conversation about Benny Hinn with a lot of people. And we talked about the idea behind Benny Hinn being like he's a Beautiful Eulogy calls it prostituting the gospel. And that's what Benny Hinn is still doing, was doing, I don't know. But he was using the gospel as a means to exalt himself and to pad his pockets. So the question then comes up, what does Benny Hinn have to do now, because he specifically used the gospel as a means for his own gain? Now, if he quote unquote has relinquished or pushed aside this prosperity teaching, what does he have to do with what he earned from using the gospel in a wrong way? Is there something that he has to do? We went back and forth. My wife and I had some really good conversations about this too, and I had some good conversations with other people, and it's like, all right, so does he give the money back? Does he have to liquidate all of his assets and then donate it to somebody else? What does he do? But then what happens with that conversation? It's like, okay, now does Benny Hinn, is he doing stuff in order to earn his salvation that I would not have to do because our sins were different? It's a tough conversation. And I'm not going to answer it because I don't really know. I think you can make arguments on either side. And I think there's, so I am going to answer it personally. Okay. I think if you're Benny Hinn, okay, and if you've had a genuine, because honestly, like, you can't be, I'm just going to say it, you can't be a born again follower of Christ and do what he was doing. Like, you can't do that. That's like all these mega church pastors that are, using the gospel as a financial gain, and they're trying to fill the seats and they're doing all that. Like, they're not saved. And I'm just going to be bold with that. Like, you can't be. You can't use the gospel as a financial gain and to pad your pockets and be a true follower of Christ. Just going to say it. If that makes you turn the TV off or whatever you're watching, I'm just being, you can't. Like, you cannot do it. That's like when everybody makes these broad statements about, like, you can't be a Christian and be a racist. Like, well, no kidding. Like, you can't be like a Christian and be a white nationalist or whatever the woke culture terms are nowadays. Like, yeah, no kidding, you can't. Like, who is saying that you can't? That's what I want to know. I'm getting off track. We're going back to Kanye. And the reason I started talking about Benny Hinn was because we were talking about this. Because Kanye comes from a background of bad music, vulgar music, is something else required of him than would be of myself or you or whoever. And again, I think we will see. Now, what Noah said, let me get to that here because this is a good topic. Because I think the same thing happens now that happened with Benny Hinn. With Benny Hinn, there was this skepticism, right? There was people that were skeptical. We all still are, maybe. I don't know. But we were skeptical of his confession. We were thinking that he's now changing because he wants to reach a new market, or people are getting hip to his message, and now he needs to change in order to fill the seats. It's possible. But now Kanye, his idea, or his question by a lot of people is this statement right here. Is Kanye West promoting Jesus or exploiting Jesus? Because I think that's a legitimate question that you can ask because of, I mean, you can't really see it. The cover of the Rolling Stone, now this is an article from the Christian Post that was posted today. Now this article, or this cover, is of Kanye as Christ with the crown of thorns and the blood and the scar. I mean, plain and simple. Now, I think this image, if I'm correct, is from a while ago. It's not a recent one, but they're using that. They're criticizing him, it looks like, in this article because he's changing the album. His album, Jesus is King, it was supposed to be released, but it's still not released. So that's why everybody is now starting to question his motives. Let me get to the other place where Chance the Rapper. Here's another guy. He's a big name. He declared faith, and there's been some questions about that. Now, here's where I think we start to really see what happens. Sunday service, the Church of Kanye West. And this is great, okay? It says, for the past year, West has been leading a church, but not a church in either the conventional or biblical sense. West's church, called Sunday Service, is more like an exclusive feel-good musical extravaganza for Hollywood's elites. Those who have attended the events, which have been held in various locations, include Brad Pitt, Justin Bieber, yeah, I say that right? Justin Bieber. Who is Justice Bieber? David Letterman, Katy Perry, and Chance the Rapper. Now, Christian Post says that these church services are more like an exclusive feel-good musical extravaganza. They, just described, 90% of the churches in America right now. Most of these, evangelical churches are these things. Feel-good musical extravaganzas. And that's what I don't get about Christian Post, just to use one example. They'll say that Kanye's church service is nothing more than this, but then they promote churches that are exactly that. Doesn't make any sense to me. I've really had a hard time lately there is one church in our area, man, and it just, they really, I mean, we have a tough time. I say we, as me and the other, some of the other people I interact with locally, we have a tough time with this church. We have to, repent of our hearts because we balance between, how do we reach people? Cause they have a campus on our college campus. And if that gives away the church, I don't care. I would say this to this guy's face, and I've reached out to them, and they just don't want to interact with me. But anyways, so where do we draw the line with these exclusive feel-good musical extravaganza churches and being on a college campus? And how do we then say to a college kid, how do you approach that conversation with 19-year-old freshman on college campus who goes to the Happy Clappy musical extravaganza show? Okay. How do you approach him and say, listen, like this ain't it? How do you go down that route? It's tough, believe me. And I get criticized like all the time for a lot of the stuff that I say. I really do. I get people criticize me for, I get more criticism than I do praise. Thankfully, I'm not in this for the praise because I would have quit a long time ago. But I get criticized. I call them the yeah buts. I get people that like say this to me all the time. They send me a message and they'll say, I agree with you, but, and then they don't agree with me. And so a lot of times people are hypercritical of my view of these types of churches. And a lot of times, and I'm not saying all the times, because I've had people that I respect who have, called me out on some stuff, and we've had good conversations and things like that. But a lot of times these people that have called me out, they've never once had to sit across the table from somebody who's sitting under one of these false teachers and had to explain to them, like, listen, like this is what's going on with the church, quote unquote, that you're attending, and how heartbreaking and how hard that is to do. I've done that. I've done it numerous times. Like, I've had conversations with people that have been caught up in movements and have broken down because God has revealed to them the truthfulness of his word and the false teaching, and how heartbreaking it is to go through something like that, to be a part of something that you pour your heart and soul into, to trust your soul. Think about how you trust your soul, okay, to somebody. And then you find out after the blinders have been revealed, you find out that it's false. Okay. And then people want to tell me that I take it too seriously. You can't take it serious enough. I mean, I'm sorry. You can't take it serious enough. So when I get worked up about happy clappy churches and stuff like that, and these feel good musical extravaganzas, and the local church in our area that is all about branding, and their quote unquote pastor is more concerned with his long t-shirts and skinny jeans than he is with, and he uses I got kicked out of Bible college as this badge of honor. Like, he thinks it's cool that now I'm really telling you who this church is, and I don't care. But he displays this as a badge of honor that he got kicked out of Bible college. And that's a direct attack at me, somebody who was in seminary, and I labor between all the other things that I do, and I pride myself on being in school because I think as a pastor that's something you should do. And he uses it as a badge of honor that he got kicked out of Bible college. Come on now, you got to be kidding me. Again, why did we go down that rabbit trail? I'm telling you, I've reached out to this church. I really have on numerous occasions on various topics and tried to engage with them. Nothing to do with it. They've probably blocked me by now, but I mean, one time they posted an article about, or they posted a picture. They pulled a verse out of context to use in to support giving. They were doing this giving ladder challenge, and I called them out on it, and it was bad. I mean, it was so bad. I have out of the false teaching, like if we go false teaching up here and then we do little branches out of false teaching, using the gospel to get money to that just is, I mean, that's a big problem. That's a big problem. When you take that route, I mean, come on. I'd like this dude to ride around with me for one day and watch what I do. And this is not me exalting myself, because this is the life that I've signed up for. And I told my wife this exact same thing the other day. We were talking about something else, and she said, I'm sorry that you're going through all this, and you've got this and this and this. And I said, well, this is the life that I signed up for. And it is. But I'd like Megachurch Joe to sit besides me and watch what I do in order for me to be able to sit in front of this camera at night and talk about Christ, or to preach on Sunday mornings. And none of these times am I ever saying I'm going to use this platform to make money. or I'm gonna switch the gospel message in order to put money in our pockets to support my wife. Not once. And then we have people that do that, and I just don't have I don't have patience for it. I don't know how you can take a verse from the book of James that says we as teachers will be judged more strictly, will be judged harsher, with greater judgment, is kind of what is going on there. I don't know how you can take a verse like that and go, yep, I'm gonna use the gospel for my own gain. I don't get it. I don't get how you can not care about preaching on Sunday mornings. Like if you're a pastor and you get up and you say, I want to talk to you today about 5 minutes of something. I don't understand how you can not care all week long about the message that you're going to proclaim. Like even something like that. Like how I mean, I don't want to like sound like I'm not trying to boast when I say this. Like I'm confident in my speaking ability. Let me say that. So the art of preaching, you know, maybe like that's a good way to describe it. I'm confident in that. Like I'm comfortable with making eye contact, and I can use my hands to like bring you in, and I can like draw like a picture with my eye or with my hands and stuff like that. Like I'm okay with all of that. But I mean, anytime that I have to exegete a text, like I tremble. Like it's crazy. Like when I have to present a text, like we do this thing called the Simeon Trust, and I'm part of the younger guys. And when we sit in the room with these older guys, like I'm like, I don't want to do this. I just can't imagine like not taking that seriously. I can't do it. I just can't. I cannot do it. I cannot fathom not taking it seriously. And yet there's people that do it every week. There's people that do it all the time that just don't take it seriously. Now we have Kanye West. Kanye West is possibly now going to usher in an entire new generation of Christians, people that would never have heard the gospel before, because this guy, let me click over, this guy here, Rapzilla, this website, this guy here, Kanye's Sunday service, this guy preached the gospel in front of thousands in Detroit, okay? So he did, and again, I watched the video, and it's a long video. I'll post the link if you would like to listen to his sermon, and it's a long context and stuff like that. So I don't want to just post like clips and things like that. I watched the video. He preached the gospel. Like he preached a clear repentance, trust in Jesus Christ by faith alone, through grace alone, gospel message. Like he preached the gospel, okay? Thousands of people heard the gospel because of Kanye West. That's what I think. Now, this is the quote that I wanted to, from Philippians 1. Some, to be sure, are preaching Christ even from envy and strife, but some also from goodwill. The latter do it out of love, knowing that I am appointed for the defense of the gospel. The former proclaim Christ out of selfish ambition, rather than from pure motives, thinking to cause me distress in my imprisonment. What then? Only that in every way, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is proclaimed, and in this I rejoice. Yes, and I will rejoice. Kanye, okay, he might, in fact, we might come back to this in 2 months, 3 months, a year, whatever. We might look back upon this and go, you know what, we were wrong. He was using the gospel as a means to gain. This dude here, okay, preached the gospel. Clear gospel message. He used Kanye's platform to do what? Preach the gospel. He didn't use Kanye's platform in order to try to exalt Kanye. Because honestly, and now again, I don't know how Kanye knows this guy. I don't know. I don't know if he knows at all anything about this guy. I don't know if it's just by, well, it is this, but I don't know if it's just by the sovereign hand of God that this guy was the one that preached, and he just so happens to be a graduate of the Master's Seminary. Like that's, I mean, but he could have gotten flipping Joel Osteen up on stage, and Joel Osteen could have done his little, this is my Bible spiel that he does at the beginning of every garbage that he preaches. He could have done that. He could have got Joel Osteen. He didn't. He got a Master's Seminary grad. Master's Seminary grad guy preached the gospel to thousands of people on Kanye's platform. That's all I'm saying. Like that is a good thing, whether in pretense or in truth. I will rejoice because Christ is proclaimed. That's the important thing, okay? We can talk about Kanye. We can see what ends up happening. we can come back to this in months and say, yeah, Noah was right. In his opinion, he's using the gospel, or he's using a new platform to sell music because, I mean, face it, he's maxed out. Like, he's not going to get any bigger. Everybody knows who Kanye is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to get any bigger by doing what he was doing. Like, because now he said he's not making secular music anymore. So if that is in fact true, he's now if he's trying to make a bigger name for himself, like, he can't, like, he's hit that ceiling, you know? Like, he can't get, like, Michael Jordan. Like, Michael Jordan couldn't do anything more to be more Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like he's Kanye West. Okay. So maybe he thought, what am I going to do now? Because he's a creator, he's a producer. So he's got that desire inside of him that he's got to produce. And maybe he became stagnant. Maybe he just thought, like, this isn't doing the same thing for me anymore because I've reached this level of success that, I mean, most of us will not even come close. We can't understand the level of success that Kanye West has had. So maybe he decided, I'm going to switch teams and I'm going to make gospel music and I'm not going to worry about secular music anymore because I've reached the pinnacle. Maybe. I don't know. But again, Noah wants me to do a video on David Platt. I could do a video on David Platt. Noah, how about this? Noah, you send me the sermon that you want me to review, because I think I know you well enough to know that you've probably got something specific in mind. So text me the sermon. I'll watch it, and then then you and I won't talk about it, but I'll do a review on it, and we can compare notes later on. Let's do that. That's a good idea. So I think the message, and we'll stop here, because I don't want to do a really long episode on this because I'm trying to be concise with the point that I'm trying to make. The point of this whole conversation is we're going to see if Kanye is a Christian. Plain and simple. Like, we're going to know. We're going to find out because it's Kanye West and he's just in the news, and you know, he's married to Kim Kardashian and she's got 14 billion followers on Instagram. So every little detail about, can you imagine, like, I got excited last night because I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. 1,000. And like I told you, that's so small. She, like, she has they have so many followers. It's unbelievable. Anyways. Sergey says, did you see the leaked lyrics of his songs? I saw the names of the songs, but I didn't see any lyrics of them. No one wants to know about his new book. Is David genuine or just trying to sell lots of books? I don't know. My reaction of David Platt is that he's genuine. I don't think that he's trying to use his platform to sell stuff. I don't see that in David Platt. He's had some questionable sermons. You know, he's been in and out of this social justice movement, and the sermon that he preached last year at Together for the Gospel was downright offensive. Honestly, I was there. I did not agree with the message, and I thought it was wrong. And so there's been some times that he's been in and out of social justice stuff, but I don't think he's using a platform to try to sell books. I don't. Again, I could be wrong, but my personal opinion is I don't. But to end, again, like I was saying, like, we're going to know about Kanye West. We're going to know if he's a legit follower of Christ. We're going to see fruit. It's not going to take us long. Like, we're going to see. But again, I want us to focus on this one event here, okay? Kanye is, of course, he's getting the news. This guy here, and I hate to even admit it, but his name is now escaping me. The guy from Masters. Adam Tyson. Okay, Adam Tyson's the hero of this Kanye church service story. Like he's the dude. He's the dude that deserves the publicity. But we don't get into ministry for publicity. And this dude, I assume he did not either, because his message would have been entirely different, plain and simple. You don't preach the gospel in front of thousands of people, like a legitimate gospel. Again, watch the video. It's a legitimate gospel presentation. You don't preach the gospel in front of thousands of people at a Kanye West service, concert, whatever you want to call it, unless you're legit. unless you're in this for ministry to make much of Christ. Because at this point, man, you got a chance to get your pockets padded. You're getting big dinner tonight because everybody's going to be giving you money, right? He didn't do it. He didn't do it. He used it as an opportunity to preach the gospel. And I use this as, I hope one day the Lord blesses me with an opportunity to preach in front of this many people, not because I want that platform, but because I want the chance to preach the gospel to thousands of people. I just think, man, I mean, I'm looking at this picture of him right now. He's standing in front of all these people and they're all engaged in on him. And he's got a moment in time where he's got one shot in this moment that he's going to get to talk to all these people. He might not have talked to anybody else after this event. But at that one moment, he preached to every person that was there. Listen, if you're not a Christian, here's what you have to do to become a Christian. He did it. And again, like Paul says, whether in pretense or in truth, there's some that preach the gospel for this reason, and there's some that preach the gospel for this reason. What does Paul say? Doesn't matter to me. I rejoice because Christ is proclaimed. That's the important thing. We got to pray for Kanye, again, because so many people are getting caught up in this evangelical, famous Christianity movement. Kanye is going to get snatched up because he's Kanye West. Like that's probably going to happen. I think there's something going on, and I have a message or something. I apologize if you heard the messenger go off. So we got to pray for Kanye that he and I saw a tweet the other day, and it was so funny. I should have saved it. I don't think I saved it. Let me see here real quick if I did, because it was hilarious. And we'll end with this, and then I'll let you guys go, because I have not had dinner yet, and I've been on the go since 5:30 this morning. I'm thirsty, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and no, I did not save it. Dang. Did I send it to my wife? Maybe I did that. I don't think I did that either. Dang it. I'm going to have to dig around for that, because it was a really good tweet. I don't have it. Anyways, it was something about like, let's not pray for Kanye and let's just cross our fingers that he just makes good decisions, right? I really paraphrased that because it was much better than I give credit for. But that's what we need to do. We need to pray for Kanye, again, because here's an opportunity for Kanye West to use his platform to make much of Christ. And hopefully this guy from the Master's Seminary, hopefully Kanye can look upon him and think, oh my gosh, like this dude, like he had an opportunity for, he's got thousands of people. This dude, I mean, he might not preach in front of 100 people, and he's got thousands of people that he just preached to. And Kanye sees this dude be obedient to Scripture. Kanye has to know that, like, wait a minute, what just happened here? He has an opportunity to preach. He did. Kanye sees that. I don't know. There's a lot we could talk about. I'm going to stop there. Everybody on YouTube, thank you guys for stopping in. Everybody on Facebook, thank you for stopping in. Those listening to the podcast later on, thank you for listening. Give us a like and a review. Helps us out. Helps us to reach more people. Those that have sent me messages of congratulations and left comments in the chat tonight about us reaching 1,000 subscribers, thank you. Again, I'm so excited. So excited. I don't do this for numbers. I don't make any money from this. You know, I have people that support me financially that help me pay for some of my subscriptions and hosting fees and stuff like that. So it's not about the money for me. It's not about the platform, but man, that was the one goal, like from an analytics perspective, or from not of course, like I want to make much of Christ and all that I do. That's why I started doing this. My goal, again, from a analytical perspective, was to hit 1,000 subscribers, and we did. And I got it on video too. I got it when it turned over to 1,000. I got it on video because I'm that kind of guy. I'm that, like I'm a nerd, and so that was exciting to me. But anyways, so yeah, thanks for stopping by. We're gonna end there. We will be back next week. Tuesday. We'll be back on Tuesday. Lots of stuff coming up. Check out the Facebook page for announcements and follow us and keep up to date with all the things that are happening through the ministry. If you are interested in learning more about Theology Nights, if you have a question for us, send us a message on Facebook. Check out theologynights.com. Join us on the live show every Tuesday night. Time is, whenever we feel like it, because that just works so much better now than in the than how we had it before. Really enjoying the new format. Thank you guys for stopping out, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great night, guys. See ya.